regarding prehistory.
I think so too, and I think it has to happen where, I don't mean to say this to be cruel, but the old people have to die.
There's that quote, isn't it? Science advances one funeral at a time.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't take that long, though. To be honest, Joe, I hope it's just in the next few years.
Well, the good thing is a lot of scientists don't take care of themselves, so. Which is also weird when you see super intelligent people that are obese and eat terrible food.
Or health experts that are such.
Yes, air quote health experts, not real ones. But it is, to me, a great disservice. And one of the things that I find very promising is that a lot of young academics are embracing a lot of alternative ideas, whether quietly or whether they're doing it publicly.
Yeah, well, I think the advent of the internet and shows like this, or the medium of podcasting, has really kind of democratized the access to information and allowed people with theories that potentially wouldn't have been able to get out there in the pre-internet age, where they were kind of, you had to go through a kind of academic institution to get a theory heard or debated. Now anyone can say anything, for better or worse, and that can reach millions of people. And then if it's an idea that's popular, then it can kind of be in the public eye, and then it can be debated properly. And I think that's only a good thing. Obviously there are negative aspects to that, but I think that will increase ideas regarding prehistory, for example. I think it will increase the rate in which these things will get accepted, because once the evidence is out there, and once you start talking about the Colombo structure, for example, and how it completely flies in the face of both these paradigms regarding permanent living and human intelligence, it's out there now. People can look it up, and people can see that this is completely kind of opposed to what we've always been taught regarding prehistory.
And isn't it kind of arrogant to assume that they know who built it too? That's weird too, because they're basing it on this assumption that human beings didn't exist back then. At least Homo sapiens didn't exist back then, which is also being challenged over and over and over again.
Yeah, the fact they base it on Heidelbergensis is literally just because we found some Heidelbergensis remains like 200 kilometers away. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it's Heidelbergensis. I mean, it could have been, to be fair, but...
It could have been, but I mean, right now, there's people that are living in Africa, and 200 kilometers away from them are apes.
Yeah.
So if one day they found structures, in the future, said, oh, these are made by chimpanzees.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, that's the thing about history, is it's all based on massive assumptions. It's not like a hard science. It's interpreting evidence, and that's fine. Like, that's how we do it. But
sure,
that's why I don't
get... It's the only way to do it right now.
It's the only way to do it. So that's why I don't get why people make these definitive conclusions and then don't allow anybody to kind of speculate or hypothesize about anything else.
It's gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping. It's academic gatekeeping. It's also these people that have been teaching this one thing forever being threatened by the fact that they were wrong. The last thing an academic wants to hear is like, you wrote this book, this stupid book. This book misled people for decades. You were so wrong. Like, they will fight it with every ounce of their being, because it's essentially their identity. Their identity is being the gatekeeper of their understanding of human history.
Yeah, they've built a whole career around it, and they've, as you say, it's their identity. They've been the keeper of knowledge on a particular subject. But
it's gross, because it's ours. It's the whole planet. Yeah. It's all the human beings. It's like, do you have a few nerds who you wouldn't want to hang out with in real life? And these are the guys that are telling us we can't explore these things? And those are the people that are attacking Graham Hancock with every possible insult, calling it the most dangerous show on television. Like this, but it's also it's so revealing, because it's so obvious that if you watch the show, you're like, wait, this is the most dangerous show on TV?
Ancient Apocalypse.
Yeah, like, how is that dangerous? He's like just talking about these bizarre structures that exist that seem to defy our modern understanding of how things are built.
Yeah, and when I don't agree with absolutely everything Graham Hancock says, but when I look at these ideas of, human intelligence potentially stretching back 500,000 years as displayed by the Colombo structure, or permanent living, and I would argue that it could go back a lot further than that. So when you kind of take into account that these abilities could have stretched back 500,000 years, when I then look at someone like Graham's work, it seems so plausible. I don't see why it's seen as so outrageous that, because 12,000 years ago, which is kind of when he proposes there could have been a sophisticated civilization that was potentially wiped out by a cataclysm. When you look at that from the perspective of, oh yeah, we've been intelligent for 500,000 years, it seems very plausible to me.
Not only that, it's 450,000 years after the first structure now.
Yeah. But no one's talking about this.
That's what's weird, is that no one's talking about that.
It's just me.
As
far as I can tell.
You. It's like those academics as well that found it.
To be fair, the guy that found it, the archaeologist that found it, said that he never could have imagined that pre-Homo sapien, again, it may not be pre-Homo sapien, it could be Homo sapien, but he said it's completely paradigm shifting that they had the capacity to plan and build something like this. But again, there's no fuss about it. It's just a paper was written and it was put out there, and then that's it.
Well, these things take time.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, more of these conversations and more people have to understand that these things are being discovered and that we are kind of confused about so many things about human history. And we're being told that, no, there's people at the universities that have all the answers and that it's literally not possible that they're telling the truth. It's not possible. And that's why I get so excited about the structures under the pyramid, because it's a gigantic fuck you to all those people.
It would be, yeah.
It would be the most gigantic fuck you of all time if they found out that those scans are accurate and there's these pillars that are wrapped in coils that go down like hundreds of meters, and then below them there's additional structures and the whole.
And they think it's all connected as well.
Yes. Which is like, if Christopher Dunn is correct about it being some sort of a power plant and that reveals like how the thing worked and functioned, that's way more advanced than us. Like, what is that?
In some ways they already are. I mean, we can't explain how they did it, even based on a kind of conventional model of history.
I know, and we lie.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many people. Like when I had Zawi Hawass here and he was explaining to me.
National project.
It was the national project. They're like, oh, that'll fix it. We should make our national project to breathe underwater and fly through the air. Like, we should make that our national project, to go to other planets and live there in case Earth gets blown up. What are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they just don't want it. And it does kind of make me worry. Like, I don't really delve into the kind of conspiracy side of things because, I mean, I try to stay kind of based in...
Not me. I go right in.
I mean,
first.
I do it in my own time and stuff. I mean, in my own head and stuff. But in terms of like my videos...
What one do you dive into in your own head the most?
I sometimes combine the UFO one with the ancient civilization one.
I do too.
And I think, what happens if, a civilization from 1 million years ago got so advanced that we can't see them, and then that's what the UFO thing is. It's just someone from this Earth that doesn't really need the space anymore, and they're just watching us.
Yeah.
Sometimes think about that. But obviously I don't talk about that in my videos because I don't need to give anyone any more ammunition to send for me.
Well, there's also the genetic engineering one.
Oh, you mean like that?
Why humans are so different than everything else in the first place. Like, that's weird. The doubling of the human brain size over a period of 2 million years is really weird.
What does that refer to? Is that from habilis to erectus? What is that?
I don't know. Let's Google it.
So I've heard people say that, and I've always thought, I guess that must be from Homo habilis to Homo erectus from just over 1 million years ago.
An immense leap that is, like Terence McKenna used to say, it would be bizarre if it was a liver of an otter that doubled over a period of that amount of time. But the fact that it's the very organ that allows us to contemplate and to understand human existence in the first place, and that organ doubled over a period of 2 million years, like, what happened?
Yeah.
He's got the wackiest theory because he thinks it's psilocybin mushrooms.
I think there could be something to that. I mean, because ancient cultures have always used psychedelic substances, basically all the way up until Western society kind of took hold. It's always been an integral part of human culture and human society, and then us in our modern world have decided to outlaw that, and I think that's a tragic mistake, to be honest with you.
It is, and I think history will reveal that one day. And I think that is one of the also one of the good things about discussions that are happening on the internet that are kind of unchecked and untethered by academia, so you can talk about these things. Bigger brains.
The Smithsonian website says it's actually tripled over the time we've tracked it.
Wow.
Slow increase from 62 million, but a larger increase 800 to 200,000 years ago.
Wow.
And then the article goes.
That's when the aliens landed.
Yeah. So I don't even buy that though, because Heidelbergensis have the same cranial capacity as us, and they go back 900,000 years. So.
The other thing thing I saw before.
But maybe that's Erectus they're talking about.
Brains don't fossilize. They deteriorate, leaving a cavity
inside the brain
That's
case.
part of how they know some of this info.
Sometimes sediments fill the cavity hard, meaning natural endocasts. Scientists also make artificial endocasts to study like the ones above. Fascinating.
Yeah, we're a weird creature.
Well, did you say it's 2017 that they discovered modern humans 300,000 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
And where was that?
It's in Morocco.
And so that's Morocco, right? You said that. So imagine if they found something similar in China.
Well, that would fuck everything up because the out of Africa thing, and that would really fuck everything up. But I mean, it could happen.
Well, it wouldn't really even fuck it up. It would just push it back.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not even supposed to have left Africa until this time of the cognitive revolution, and that's always been one of the points. Like, oh look, we got smart, we left Africa 60,000 years ago. But that's never made sense to me either, because Homo erectus managed to migrate out of Africa and colonize loads of Asia and parts of Europe over 1 million years ago. And if they're supposedly, inferior to us, then how can they make this massive leap? And Heidelbergensis did it 600,000 years ago. And if they're supposedly inferior to us, how come they did this? And so, I mean, I don't know. I try not to delve into the out of Africa thing because it gets a little bit controversial sometimes.
It does. Well, it gets controversial when you bring in aliens too, because aliens become racist.
Yeah.
It becomes racist because now you're not accrediting the Africans to building the pyramids. Which is really
That's never made
fascinating.
sense to me, that, because it clearly wasn't white people that built the pyramids.
Well, I watched this very bizarre discussion between some guy that was trying to claim that it wasn't Africans that built the pyramid, that it was white people that built the pyramids. So there are people that have this sort of racist idea of the construction of the pyramids, but you can't attach that to everyone who's speculating about the construction because the things are too weird. It's too weird. And let's assume that it was Africans that built the pyramids. But if we are assuming that, like, how were they so much smarter than everyone alive today?
Yeah.
How were they so much smarter? Let's say it's 4,500 years ago. How were they so much smarter? What was going on? Like, what happened? Did they get visited by aliens? Did they discover something that allowed their understanding of physics to be just so much greater than everybody else who's ever lived? Like, what did they discover? Like, what were they encountering? What were they consuming? What were they doing? What were they teaching each other? We lost so much in the burning of the Library of Alexandria, right?
Yeah, it's quite sad, really, isn't it? To be honest, like, there would have been a lot in. I'm not sure 100% what happened with that. I'm not sure if it was one burning or
Just several burnings.
Yeah, but clearly a lot was lost.
But then the question is, like, what did they even know? Like, what if it's older than that? Like, what if all that stuff? What if this is one of the things that Zawi Hawass was very reluctant to. He's like, what is this? I was talking about the King's List that goes back 30,000 years.
Yeah.
What if that's accurate?
Yeah, it's the Sumerian wonders too.
Yeah. It gets real squirrely when you only want to accept some parts of history.
And that ties into the Green Sahara thing that I was talking about. Like, I mean, they have the king list that go back this far, and we say that some of them are myth, and to be fair, they have kings that reign for like 1,000 years, which is a bit weird.
It's a bit weird.
Probably not. I mean, unless you're talking some kind of alien thing, then that probably wasn't human. But that might just be because it would have been a long time ago for them too, when they were writing these king lists.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that their civilization only started with the first dynasty. What we've decided is the line between myth and fact, because that's a modern interpretation after the fact. They never made such distinction.
Yeah, and this idea that they lived 1,000 years. Well, have you ever read the North Korea depictions of Kim Jong-un's first day playing golf?
Yeah, it's propaganda, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he made like 9 holes in one. He was the greatest golfer of all time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're writing about kings. He lived 1,000 years. Fire came from his dick. Like what are we talking about? We don't know. We don't know what they were writing. We don't know who wrote it. We don't know how fantastical it was, how much hyperbole was involved. But we do know that we accept the King's List when it gets to around 2,500 BC. We start accepting it.
Yeah.
But you don't accept this possibility that it might actually go far, far, far earlier than that.
And the pyramids thing kind of plays into the fact that stone is one of the only thing that survives. And pyramids are these massive stone constructions. Like, ironically, they would be one of the only things from not that they really count as our civilization, but from the modern world, the pyramids would be one of the only things that could survive in 100,000 years. So it makes you think, like, how long have they been there? And I think the Egyptians definitely undertook some kind of construction project around the time of 2500 BC.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's records of them saying they did stuff, but that doesn't mean, because they have all these records, but there's no records of how they built it.
Well, they also, the buildings that they made that were after 2500 BC are dog shit.
So much worse.
They're terrible.
They just immediately forgot how to do it again straight away.
They were trying to copy, and they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the math. They didn't have the engineering. The stones are smaller.
And no one's claimed, they don't claim credit for the pyramids, which is weird.
Yeah.
Why would you not claim it?
Yeah, it's all weird. It's the weirdest, right? So it's the one thing that if you're a logical person and you think you know the timeline of history, you think you understand human civilization, you think you understand like how intelligence evolved and how technology and innovation evolved, and you see that, you're like, oh, I don't know shit. Like, how's that statue so big and perfectly symmetrical?
They're crazy.
How about these vases that they don't understand?
Oh, is that a replica
This
of...
is a 3D. And this is a 3D model of an actual vase from Egypt.
Yeah. They're doing some good work on this, aren't they? People like Uncharted
Who gave this
X.
to us? Did Christopher Dunn give this to us? I think he did.
It's probably him, yeah.
But Ben from Uncharted X, he's done a lot of work on these things. Like those vases are very bizarre. Yeah. Very bizarre.
And they appear right at the start of the
Yes.
Egyptian dynasties.
Yeah.
And they forget how to do that as well.
We have no idea how they made them. We don't know what tools they used. Anybody that says that they do, you're lying. You really don't know. You can't know. These things are perfectly symmetrical. They weren't turned on a lathe because they have handles. The way they measure them, when you look at like the deviation from round and like how it's like a thousandth of a human hair.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's made from incredibly hard granite,
Yeah,
right?
it's like the hardest stone to do that with.
So what are we talking about? Like, who are these people?
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy.
And then you have the statues that are perfectly symmetrical.
Perfectly
The
symmetrical.
faces are just incredible.
And massive.
Yeah. Huge.
Right.
Unbelievably huge.
So they moved them there, and then they carved them perfectly symmetrically. It looks like they're 3D printed.
Yeah.
It's so strange. It just screams at a lost technology.
At least.
It screams that these people had some sort of information and some sort of education that is like on a different path of we went the way of the internal combustion engine and transistors and electronics, and it seems like they went a totally different way, but maybe even further.
Yeah.
But we're scrambled in like our pathway to advancement. It's the only one that the human mind and all its infinite creativity can conceive of.
And this is another point regarding culture that could have flourished back in 100,000 years ago or whatever. We're always looking for ourselves in the past.
Yes.
But there's so many different ways that we could have gone, because why did it have to be mass farming, mass population growth, and then, as you say, kind of industrial progress? It could have been so many different forms of human development and human lives.
Well, it could have been if they had enough animals, they mostly ate animals.
Yeah, or fish or something.
Yeah, mostly ate animals and fish, which is probably healthier for you anyway. Really what grain is survival food.
Yeah, we all got like shorter and less healthy when that happened.
Yeah, because we didn't get the right amount of protein.
Yeah.
And our jaws like shrunk because people were eating gruel. Like if you look at part of the world where people are eating a lot of like porridge and shit, their jaws get really small.
Yeah, it's not good for us.
No, it's fucking terrible we're devolving because of our diets, which is really strange. But if you think about this time, and especially that part of the world where there was so much abundant natural resources, that animal agriculture seems super simple. Yeah. You just corral a bunch of animals, you build a fence, and then you eat them.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to grow rice.
So many different ways that culture could have flourished.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for it, and we just don't know where to look as well on the record. Like, one point people always make in like my comments and stuff to try and debunk me is like, oh, we would see pollution, we would see kind of lead signals in the atmosphere or whatever if there was like a big civilization 100,000 years ago. But that's only the case if it was someone on the scale of us now. Because
or if they were doing it the way we're doing it. That's the thing. Where we're talking about a completely different pathway. Clearly, there's some technology that they had that we don't understand. When you talk about the drill holes that they find, or the way they had carved out these enormous, massive chunks of stone, and we're apparently going to move them. We don't understand.
The unfinished obelisk.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The unfinished obelisk, that's bananas. It's so many of these things that they cut out of the ground and absolutely moved are bananas.
Yeah.
So it's like, what kind of technology? Why are we assuming that it's going to be some internal combustion engine that sprays out terrible pollution? What if they had figured something out?
I would say it's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible, because we're going to eventually. If you give us another 1,000 years, you will not be able to recognize any of this nonsense that we use for technology today, especially when AI gets involved. Did you see that thing where a quantum computer supposedly went 1 second back in time?
I did. I was reading that.
Is that bullshit?
No, they discovered it 6 years ago, though. It's not new.
What?
6 years ago? That
story's from
2019,
yeah.
But still.
It went back in time.
Yeah, by 1 second, and some way quantum.
What does that even
fields.
mean?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's mad.
But that's us. Now imagine that technology that was science fiction 20 years ago, right? We'll go back to like the movie Alien and look at their stupid computers that they had. This is what they thought people were going to have when they were starfaring people.
Yeah.
Now, think of this quantum computer experiment where it goes back in time 1 second and then go forward 1,000 years, which is nothing.
Yeah.
When we're talking about 4,500 years ago, we might be off by 1,000. So go to 5,500 years ago, 6,000. If you're listening to John Anthony West, he thinks it's 34,000 years.
Yeah.
That's what he thinks.
And that sounds so crazy, but then you look at the kind of length of time we've been around, and it's still quite recent.
Yeah, it's still quite recent.
And that lines up with the Sphinx, doesn't it? With the kind of that's the processional cycle.
How much evidence of a quantum computer from 34,000 years ago would be left? Right. Okay. So if we did get pelted by comets, which we know happened, that's a fact.
I saw an estimate, I think it was from NASA, but I'm not 100% sure, but it was from a kind of scientific journal that Earth is hit by what they define as a cataclysmic impact every 100,000 years. So that's an impact that's capable of wiping out a third of today's population every 100,000 years. And 100,000 years sounds like a long time, but again, we've been around for 300,000 years. So theoretically, we've been hit by a cataclysmic impact 3 times already during our story. And that both has the potential to completely wipe out anyone that was doing anything sophisticated, but also to wipe the record clean.
Yeah.
And that's not the only thing. You've got, supervolcanoes, as we talked about. You've got pole shifts, you've got solar flares, you've got glaciers just scraping across the landscape and just completely erasing the record. You've got sea level rise. Sea level rise is a massive one because, where have we always lived? By the coasts. And if you look at the kind of fluctuation of sea level rise over the last 100,000 years, 200,000 years, 300,000 years, sea levels going in and out by hundreds of kilometers at a time, and nothing is going to be left.
Right. Wild stuff.
I know, it's crazy.
It is wild stuff. But again, if someone is a historian and they got into this, someone's an archaeologist and they got into this because they have this fascination for it, for them to become professors and then start teaching and writing books about this stuff and not still be fascinated by the new stuff is, to me, so weird. It's like you missed the whole reason why you got into this in the first place. You got into this in the first place is because you're trying to figure out what happened. How did we get to this point? And if there's evidence that shows that we don't have the full picture and you're ignoring that or dismissing that or...
But the thing is, when you go through these kind of systems, and I've sort of got experience of this. Obviously, I was never a professional academic or anything like that. But, I did history for 4 years. I was kind of inside, and I got to the point where it was almost, it was do this as a career, become a professional academic or not. It's very hard to kind of even think this way because everyone around you is thinking within these boxes that we've created for ourselves. And so it's very hard to kind of open your mind. And you kind of have to do it in private as well because no one else is talking in those terms around you, and you're surrounded by people that think in quite limited terms. And I don't say that to kind of be offensive or, doubt anyone's intelligence.
Culture.
Exactly, it's the culture, and it means that no one is. It's very hard to think outside the box when you're kind of in that culture, and I think that's kind of what creates these, rigid systems of thought.
It's also kind of fear-based because it's not just discouraged; they'll attack you.
They attack each other even when they are within
viciously.
the box. Yeah.
Just to think about the Clovis first issue.
Yeah, that's the best example.
It's the best example because that guy was destroyed.
His career
Tom
was
destroyed.
And Jack St. Mars
and they were
others.
right.
Yeah.
They were destroyed for theorizing that human beings had lived in North America and that had arrived in North America far before 13,000 years ago. And that was the established timeline of the Clovis people. And then when they found these footprints in New Mexico that are 22,000 years old.
Yeah, and they hated that as well. They hated that.
Of course they hated it. But they hated it just because they were